Just waiting for the popcorn to be done here because there's going to be some battling on the NBA tip-off show here today on this Friday, now January the 19th. Welcome in. It is the Friday edition with the Friday crew getting ready to roll here with, 7 games on tap here tonight. We got some good ones, too, and we got a couple of guys might very well be butting heads in these games, which is great for you guys joining in here with us on WagerTalk TV as we welcome back in Skee Profit in the house. RC Ronald Kabang also has his popcorn ready, from what I understand, and Mr. Teddy Covers ready to roll. I mean, you got to be happy, right? The Lakers are playing, so you know something's going to be thrown around here. But we do, like always, on the show, we like to talk to the contrarian gods to see what they might have up their sleeve here tonight. And, well, they're going to take a look at, the Nuggets. +7.5 here. The Nuggets, they are world champions, I think, the contrarian god said. And yet here they are on their way to Boston, getting more than a touchdown here. Don't see anything crazy on the injury report here. Skee looks like the Nuggets, for the most part, healthy. So are the Celtics. Feels like maybe 7.5. Woo, that's a big number here. You agree with the contrarian gods on this, or you think Boston is the way to look?
I think I have to look the other way in this one. The Nuggets do have the rest advantage, but that's about all I like for the Nuggets right now. They haven't been. I know they're an underdog tonight, but they're 2-5 against the spread their last 7, and I don't know. I just like and trust a little bit more what I'm seeing from Boston. Boston told us in the beginning of the season they care about playing at home. They said that they've been letting their fans down in recent years, and it's been proven true. They've won 20 straight home games. I don't want to bet against that. When I know that they're motivated and that they care about a game, especially for a game of this magnitude, I would only be betting the Celtics in this spot. So I'll go against the rest advantage and against the gods.
All right. So he's looking at the home team, thinks the market is onto something here. It felt like RC, the way this thing ballooned up from 5.5 this morning, like they knew something we didn't know, but maybe it's just as simple as that. They're 7.5 points better on their own home court. Are you buying it?
No, I mean, the way that I'm looking at this, I know the Celtics 20-0, right, straight up at home. But if we break it down a little bit further, they do struggle a little bit against those top tier teams. So I looked at teams above 600 at the time of the game, and they're 2-3 against the spread in that spot. I know that the Nuggets tend to struggle to cover the number on the road. That's either as a dog or a favorite, but this is, I think, the second highest number as a dog that they've had. The other time I think they were missing a whole bunch of guys. They were 11-point dogs to some team. I forgot who it was, but they ended up winning that game outright. I think it was, I guess the Clippers.
I'm still mad at that game. I'm still mad at that game.
Exactly.
Right.
So they were double digit.
That's why I remember.
Sorry,
Ralph.
They ended up winning that game outright, Teddy. They ended up winning that game.
Yeah, I remember.
So
I was so mad.
I think the rest advantage, I feel like, might come into play here. But the other piece of it too, the only reason why I stayed off of it, because I know they have the rest advantage, but the Celtics, they were able to rest some guys in the last game as well. So clearly they did look ahead to this one. So to me, I just feel like the number is a little bit too large. I think this is a situation where maybe the Celtics do keep their perfect record at home. They just don't cover that big number.
Yeah, it don't look like it's going down anytime soon there, Teddy. And they have been perfect at home. No doubt. I guess the only question I would have to you is that if you're giving, and I don't know what your power rankings have it, would you give, 3.5 to a really good home court advantage in the NBA? Or is it even less than that? Because if it is, the Celtics are 4 points better than Denver on a neutral court?
So here's my number for the game. My number for the game is Boston -6.5. I give the Celtics 1.5 for home court edge.
Okay.
So the number says, I don't give. So that tells me, but I've got Boston more than a field goal better than anyone else in the league. I should have a field goal, NFL field goal. I got them, I think, 3.5 points better than anyone else in the league. And I've made more money betting against the Celtics this season. I'm not one of these guys who's been betting on Boston. I've been betting, I think many times they've been overpriced and overvalued. And I know my clients and I have made money betting against them so far. So they're not a team that I've got any love for. But when you talk, I'm going to give you guys two things. One, this is as strong a January bet on quote as you'll ever find. All right. This is from Jaylen Brown. Quote, this is the part of the regular season where you got to embrace. You can get complacent. You can get mentally checked out. We're trying to make sure we're all engaged. And this is where you build endurance for a long playoff drive. This is a part of the regular season I think is the most important. Going into the All-Star break, etc., teams start to count the days, and we're going to keep stacking the wins. That's a strong bet on quote for kind of the dog days of January type of season where a team is focused, and you've seen it in the Celtics results. We look at Denver, and obviously with the champs coming into town, that's going to get Boston's attention. Denver's a 500 team on the road. They're 7-14 against the spread on the highway, 33%. They've been a bad point spread team. You look at them as dogs, they've been dogs 5 times this year. 2-0 against the spread the first 2, including the one that still gives me nightmares that Ronald was nice enough to bring up. The last 3 tries as dogs, 0-3 against the spread. The market's caught up with where Denver should be, and now when they're dogs for a good reason. The money poured in on Boston this morning because Porzingis is playing and because Derek White is playing. Both those guys sat out the last game when they were announced they were going to play. The money came for the Celtics. Full strength Boston is interested. Sorry, contrarian gods, not tonight.
I will say this, if you just to throw it out there, that 50 out of the 70 favorites that have actually covered spreads in January of 2024, Teddy, you ready? They have covered by 4 or more points. It getting done by the big favorites here in to start off 2024. So got a split panel here. Told you this was worth getting the popcorn out for. You may also want to hit that subscribe button if you're new to us here at WagerTalk. Hit that like button. We got best bets coming up. We're going to take a look at the dogs on the card here tonight. And, of course, a featured matchup here. And this is a good one out west as we take a look at the Pelicans at home taking on the Phoenix Suns. I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell the Phoenix Suns won that last game against Sacramento, but they pulled it out. Didn't cover, though, but they pulled it out miraculously enough. Now they got to travel, take on this Pelicans team that's been pretty good so far at the turn of the calendar. And Skee, what are you going to do here in this one with the Suns and the Pelicans? Do you trust the Suns at this point here? Are they getting better in your eyes?
No, I'm not willing to put any money on them. They do have the rest advantage here. But I like the way the Pelicans have been playing a lot better than what I've been seeing from the Suns. So if I was going to pick a side, it'd have to be the New Orleans one. I was interested in the total here. I know it's been going up a little bit, but neither team, New Orleans not really playing crazy up tempo, but Phoenix wants to play fast. And I think in a game like this, Pelicans will be okay with pace. Both teams are top 10 offensive rated teams the last 5 games. Last 5 meetings have gone over. Pelicans have gone over 4 of their last 5. I see a lot of points in this game. I've been hesitant all day to get to the window with the over, but it's also 2 of the top 10 3-point shooting teams in the league this season. I see points, especially whenever Booker, Bill, and KD are on the floor. So over would be my recommendation.
I don't hate that at all. They do seem to be getting much more comfortable with one another, RC. Their big 3 here. It seems like they're trending in the right direction. They got to go on a road, though, and take on the Pelicans here. Who are you buying? I believe you were on the Pelicans. Actually, last time you were on the show against Charlotte covering a big number, and they did. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, this one's a tougher one. I looked at the Suns team with the big 3, right? Booker, Beal, and Durant. They're 1-8 against the spread when they're in the lineup together. But I just feel like that's not going to continue going in that direction. I feel like they're, like you said, they're picking up some momentum here. After winning that game down 19 with 4 minutes left in the game, that's a big momentum shifter, I think, in my opinion. So I know they've been winning games, but not covering spreads. I just feel like that at some point that is going to turn around. I just can't bet against this Pelicans team the way that they've been playing, though. especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think Skee mentioned it. I think both of these teams, if you look at the last 10 games, top 10 in offensive rating, if I'm not mistaken. Also, I know the Suns like to push the pace as well. I was actually looking towards the over in this one too, Skee. And, from a whole, the Pelicans have won 8 of their last 9 games, and it mainly has to do with that offense. So for me, I feel like both of these teams might be more of the efficient offenses that could sneak over the total here, because I know it shifted up 2.5 points from the open. So I mean, obviously that value is not there as much anymore, but I feel like they could still sneak over this 237.
Oh, we are expecting a shootout, Teddy, is what it sounds like from these guys. That points are coming in this one. Kind of hard to argue here. But what do you think about this Pelicans team at home? 1.5, I'm starting to see now here across the board. Are you buying the Pelicans to hold home court here in this one?
Yes, I am. I mean, when we talk about these two teams, all right, and Phoenix, able to rally back with a remarkable, was a 23-4 run over the last couple of minutes of that game. It was a blur the way they did it, but that had a lot to do with Sacramento. Sacramento's melting down. New Orleans, I like New Orleans defense. All right, let's start with that. When you're playing a team like Phoenix, you need quality perimeter defenders, multiple quality perimeter defenders, and New Orleans has that. They have the defensive depth, they have the defensive acumen, they have the defensive mentality. Is Grayson Allen going to hit 9 3-pointers tonight? I'll take the under. And when we talk about this New Orleans team, again, you're not seeing the love for New Orleans that you see for other teams in the West that have every bit the track record that they do. All right, and I know that the Pelicans have had, Zion in and out of lineup and all of that. But when they're healthy and focused, they're a legit contender in the West. And Phoenix, and again, one team's been an undervalued commodity all year. The other team's been an overvalued commodity. Look at the point spread records. It'll tell you. The Suns still haven't gotten priced correctly, and neither is the Pelicans. I think it's cheap for New Orleans. If I'm playing, I'm laying.
Ooh, Blaney Lane going with New Orleans here tonight, taking on those Phoenix Suns. See if Durant and company can get it rolling here in the right direction. They got their doubts, but they do expect some points here, RC and Skee, in that one. And speaking of points, let's talk some totals here in our overtime segment. And this is a fascinating one, too, because this has kind of been all over the map here today in my neck of the woods as the Heats taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Saw this thing at about 228 and a half this morning. It is down to 221 and a half, but it looks like we're starting to get some buyback here now as we know, that, of course, that Trae Young is not going to be playing in this game. We learned that. But, Skee, if we've said it once, we've said it a million times. Sneakily, Miami, they're pretty good at the overs at home here in this spot. And I don't know that just because Trae Young's out does that correlate to an under to you in this spot? What do you think we're going to get here?
I don't think it was even so much that Trae Young was out or is out. I mean, it is going to help the under that he's out because he's not the best defender and he's a really good offensive talent. But I was thinking this game was an under anyway. It's hard to come and recommend it here after it's moved 13 points. But you have, at this point, I look at it this way. Who do you expect to win the game? So if you expect Atlanta to win the game, they're going to do it by playing up tempo and getting buckets in transition. If you look for Miami to win the game, they're going to do it by playing their slow-paced game and more on the defensive end. So you can tell which side I like because I'm still thinking this game is going to go under. And 11 of the last 13 meetings have gone under. 5 of the last 6 games for Atlanta has gone under. 9 of the last 11 for Miami has gone under. I'm not willing to buck that trend today.
Yeah, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. Miami at home here, RC. It's been profitable to the over. We've always thought for them to be an under team here, but not the way it has worked out so far this year. What about in this spot here? You think Miami just slows this thing down to a crawl and it goes under, or are you expecting points?
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where the number matters. I know the Hawks have been struggling to, score the ball. That's why they're what 5-1 to the under in the last 6 games, and now they're gonna be out without Trey, who obviously is a big part of their offense. But the Heat, they've gone under in 9 of their last 11 as well. Their offense has really been struggling. Coming and then you're coming from a road game in Toronto as well. That could help. That could kind of push you towards the under as well. They've actually gone under their team total in 8 of their last 10 games. That's what I mean about them, struggling offensively. But one thing that keeps me off of the under here, this is a very, very low total for a Hawks game. Most of their totals this season have been above 230. And when I looked at the games where they had a total less than 230, just a 6-game sample size, but they're averaging a combined 233 points per game in that spot, combined with their opponent. And so far this season, without Trey Young, they're 2-0 to the over as well. This is one of those situations where you have a key player missing and everybody else steps up. It could be on the offensive side of the ball, it could be on the defensive side of the ball. But when I look at this roster, most of those guys on the bench, most of these role players are more offensive minded than anything, in my opinion. I looked at that since last year too. Going back to last season, the Hawks are actually 7-0 to the over on the road without Trey. So no Trey, they still kind of push the pace. They still, tend to focus more so on the offensive side of the ball. So, a lot of recent form says under, but with no Trey, historically, it's been going to the over.
Going to the over. I mean, Teddy, it's as old as time here, man. A star player gets ruled out. The market goes absolutely bonkers, drops this total to a ridiculous low. And every year we say you just fade it and you're going to be very happy at the end of the day. So is that hold true here with this total?
That's the way I look at it. And Skee made an interesting point, talking about how the series history is all unders, 9-2 to the under the last 11 meetings. So there have been 6 games between these two teams since the calendar turned to 2023. Those 6 games finished with 235, 226, 221, 258, 226, 234. So 5 of those 6 go over the number that we're seeing tonight. Even though the long-term series history is under, the number's been adjusted. And it's been adjusted fairly significantly with Trey Young's absence. And I thought Ronald made a great point. Atlanta, with or without Young, doesn't change their offensive mentality. He's the straw that stirs the drink when he's in the lineup, but it's not like they stop doing that once he's out of the lineup. They're going to play fast. Miami will play fast with them. I lean over between the Hawks and the Heat.
11-8 to the over. The Miami Heat at home this season. So, like we said, they've been profitable to back and the over. So this is going to be an interesting one here tonight in Miami. All right. So we've got a total. We got a featured matchup. The contrarian gods have chimed in. It is now time to take a look at the dogs. And let's see what we've got here tonight, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, Teddy be bebocking to this in just a minute. But before that, we got the Spurs, we got the Suns, we got the Nets, Nuggets, Magic, the Blazers, shocker, and the Hawks, like we just talked about here. So 7 in total dogs that might be barking here tonight. Skee, which one sticks out to you the most? This is the part where we go.
My bad.
Oh, okay.
Well, I looked and I know which 2 dogs I'm not supposed to choose, so that helps me narrow down. I'm going to be honest. I did not take a dog today. Today, I honestly think it's more of a favorite day. So, with that said, I'll try to pick one, and the one I'll pick will be Orlando. Plus the 5 points. I think they'll be live versus Philly, and the reason is Philly has another game tomorrow. I know that they've been playing well lately. They've been great as a road favorite, etc., etc. But you're giving me the better defense lately, which is Orlando, who's the 3rd best defense the last 5 games, the better rebounding team, and they're at home. So they've been playing just as well, too. They're 10-5 ATS their last 15, 6-2 as a home dog. I think they'll be in the game till the end. Orlando plus 5 can be my dog of the day.
Ooh, all right. I like it there. Orlando +5 here, RC. Now, how about you on this card? Limited, obviously, with just the 7 games, but which dog are you leaning towards?
Yeah, this one's an ugly one. This one's an ugly one. I know
Ooh.
I know Hallie is he just got upgraded during the show, I think, to questionable. So there's a chance that he does end up playing. So the line actually shifted up from what do we have here? +5 to 6.5,
Hmm.
just on the news that he's been upgraded to questionable. But in my opinion, sometimes we see what happens the opposite. When a key player goes out, everyone steps up. When a key player comes back from a long injury, everyone tends to lose that chemistry they just had while that player was out. So this could be a situation where Portland actually covers the spread here. I know 6.5 against this ugly Blazers team, but I looked at this Pacers team on the second leg of back-to-back games, 1-6 straight up, 1-6 against the spread, and they lost to the Hornets and Grizzlies in this spot before. So it's not out of the question that they could lose to an ugly team like the Blazers. In my opinion, another thing that I looked at is how do teams on the second leg of back-to-back games, how do they how are they affected after facing specific teams? And when I looked at after facing the King, they're a top tier team now. They like to play with pace. Um, Teams after facing the Kings on the second leg of back-to-back games, 0-4 straight. 0-4 ATS, 3-0 to their team total under. I think that it really affects how these teams play. Like tired. We talk about tired legs. You play teams like the Pacers. You play teams like the Kings like this. You're gonna come back the next day with some tired legs. That's just how the game flow is. So to me, maybe this is a situation where the Pacers don't go crazy offensively. I think this situation might be a spot where they're going to struggle on the offensive side of the ball. Give the Blazers a chance to at least stay within the number. Not sure they get the win, but this is one of those ugly games where sometimes the dog is live.
Well, they were certainly live against Brooklyn the other night, weren't they? Interesting one there here with he's ugly, but they certainly got a puncher's chance here. Teddy, handful of games here, but I know there's got to be one here that sticks out to you here tonight from a dog perspective.
Like a sore thumb, it sticks out. And just a quick note on what Ronald was talking about. Anthony Simons has just been downgraded to questionable for Portland. I haven't seen anything on Halliburton's still holding, but Simons just got added within an illness. So I think that's why the money's coming for Indiana just now. But when we look at the favorites today, all right, this team can be favored, that team can be favored. No, what? Charlotte's laying 4.5? What? Charlotte cannot be laying 4.5. End of write-up. I mean, literally, I don't think I need to say another word. I'll just put it this way: they've won 8 games this year. They're 8-30 something. Of the 8 wins, 5 of those 8 have come by 3 points or less. So even when they win, they can't cover this kind of number. I know Wembanyama's not playing. Okay, great. Charlotte can't be laying. End of write-up.
Done. See how easy that was? No, that's a Skee. Oh, hell no, am I laying points with Charlotte? Absolutely not. Who are they to be laying points? Might as well throw your money out the window and back the Lakers. All right, it is that time here. If we are going to do this, we got some best bets we're going to roll with. So here's how it works. Again, those of you joining us for the first time, welcome in. Hit that subscribe button, become part of that WagerTalk TV family. And of course, those of you joining us live here on the Friday, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. We certainly appreciate it as we throw 60 seconds on the clock. These guys can do whatever they want with that 60 seconds. We just want a best bet somewhere in there. So, Skee, tell us what you got rolling here tonight and give us a best bet on this card.
Well, I like this play regardless what Trae Young was going to play or Trae Young was not going to play. And now that we see that he's out, I just think it makes it even better for the Miami Heat. This is a team who was down by a franchise high 35 points in their last game at the half. They were talking about this being the start of the second half of the season for them and how they want to start off good and how teams should look out for them because they have their big 3 healthy finally. Tyler Hero, Bam, and Jimmy Butler. So I believe in those 3. This is a Miami Heat team who's owned Atlanta over the years. I think they've won 4 of their last 5 games versus them. And Atlanta is also on the front end of a back-to-back here. This is Miami who is retiring Udonis Haslam's jersey tonight. And I think that'll have the guys fired up because a lot of these guys played with Udonis Haslam and had him in the bench. And they're going to be fired up for him. So I like Miami -7. I think it's a trifecta spot. And I can't wait to hear Teddy tell me why it's not.
Wait. Popcorn's almost done here. Stand by there. We got one for Miami. I will say Hawks 6-5 against the number on the road here. So not exactly the best road team. Been a while since they've handled business against Miami, Skee. So not that I'm saying you're right or wrong. I'm just throwing it out there. RC, what is going on here, my man? I know you're caught in the middle of Skee and Teddy. So get your popcorn ready here. We got you. We'll give you some fire here, some cover. Go ahead and tell us 60 seconds. Where are you rolling for a best bet here tonight?
Yeah, I'm going back to another ugly game, the Spurs and the Hornets. I know Wemby is out, but the Spurs actually, they're 5-1 to their team total over when he's not in the lineup. I think the books just over adjust the offensive number or their number to a little bit too much, just because his name, Wemby, Wembanyama, best rookie in the league or whatever it might be. But I think they just over adjust on that number. If we look at the last 5 games, the Hornets are 27th in the league in defensive rating. So teams are able to put up a good check of points against these teams, against this Hornets defense. I know they've been traveling a lot as well. 11 of their previous 14 games were on the road, and this is their first game home off a 3-game road trip. This is typically a fade spot for a lot of teams. And I think Teddy mentioned it, right? Hornets laying a number, you could just stop right there. But in my opinion, I think, also with this being the first leg of back-to-back games, there could be potential of managing starter minutes, and the rest of the guys on the bench don't play a lot of defense. So Spurs team total over 115.5 here.
Ooh, all right. Little team total up and over for the Spurs here tonight. All right, RC, that leaves us, of course, popcorn ready. TC, Teddy Covers, ready to roll here. Look at, he's got the gloves on and everything. You heard Skee tell us Miami is the play here tonight. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I love Skee as an individual. As a handicapper, I respect him tremendously. This game, I disagree with him. All right, no Trae Young for the Hawks, and the betting markets do what they do. Knee-jerk reaction, the money flows in for Miami. Atlanta, straight up, without Trae Young over the last 2 seasons, 6-5, 1-1 this year. So they're winning games without him. Atlanta has the single worst point spread record in the NBA this season. They're 10-30 ATS. They have no betting bandwagon whatsoever. Even with that, they've only been +5 or higher 4 times all year, and those games came against Boston, Philly, Milwaukee. I'm sorry, Miami's not on that list, even though they were the Eastern Conference champs that year. Elites, Miami. Now, Miami was 8.5 on this floor against Charlotte last week. Charlotte! I know we're making fun of Charlotte. They're 2-7 against the number laying -5 or higher for the season. The 2 covers came against Charlotte. -7's too many. Give me Atlanta.
Oof. Skee, I just want to say, you knew you were in trouble the minute he started with the how much he appreciates it. It's one of those, with all due respect, anybody who starts a conversation with all due respect, they're about to disrespect your ass for the next 5 minutes. So I just wanted, that was outstanding, Teddy. And that's the beauty part of this, right? You guys, you got 2 competing arguments. You guys get to decide which it was if you want to play that game here tonight, Atlanta and Miami. But RC did give you the Spurs team total over 115.5 in that one. And, of course, we've got many more head-to-head preview matchups and best bet videos here for you guys, which is why it's so important for you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We have got you covered with all the big games on a daily and weekly basis. Plenty, of course, coming up this weekend, NFL, college hoops, NBA, NHL, you name it. We have got you covered. I would recommend you guys head over to WagerTalk.com, visit Teddy Covers, visit Ski Profit, visit Ronald Kabang, hop on board with them this weekend. Plenty going on for everyone. And don't forget, click on the video that's on your screen right now as well, and you will get access to all of those big matchups coming up this weekend. Check them out. A lot of great content there. And on behalf of these guys, best of luck with your plays. We'll be back again on Monday. Until then,